What's up, guys? It's John Dominique, Prize Pictures, and today I'm going to be reviewing a Samsung Evoca 70 SE camera. This is a little point and shoot. It's obscure, which I kind of like. I like cameras that, aren't the most popular for some reason. I just want something a little different. And in my collection, this camera was different because it had a zoom lens, which I normally don't deal with. I don't normally do zoom lenses. But I decided to take a chance because I like the form factor. It's very small, very pocketable, very portable. It's something that you can always keep with you. It fits in your pocket very easily. That was the upside to this camera. It has a pretty good lens to it, I'm not gonna lie, as you can see in the photos. There's a little bit of barrel distortion and a little bit of vignetting, but it's nothing too major. It's kind of what I would expect for a camera with a zoom lens. And again, zoom lenses aren't my thing, but I wanted to try something different, and I enjoyed this camera mostly. It's got that small little, I think a little CR2 or is it a CR123 or one of them small little batteries that aren't the most popular things on the block, which I kind of didn't like. I prefer like AA batteries, but nowadays most of these little point and shoots, they don't use AA batteries, most of them. So when I do find one that uses AA, I kind of try to hang on to those. But I enjoyed shooting this camera because of the lens mostly and the portability factor. It was very lightweight. It had like this mode dial. You can switch modes. I didn't really, I'm not a big fan. I tend to stick with one or two modes, so the mode dial didn't do a whole lot for me. The good thing about it has a flash. I like cameras with a controllable flash because when you need a flash, you need a flash. I'm not that big into flash photography, but when you really need it, it's very handy. The colors that come out of this camera, it's just got a Snyder Cruise Knock lens, and I like the colors that came out of this camera because that lens was really the selling point for this, for me to want to try this camera. And the colors came out great in the pictures, as you can see. Now again, I'm a prime lens guy, so in my collection I ended up basically giving this camera away because it doesn't really fit my style. I just kind of gave it away to Goodwill. I tend not to hang on to the cameras that I know don't really fit my style, and in my collection it's not my thing. Zoom lenses. It's a good camera, I'm not gonna lie. If you find one for a good price, I would recommend it. The thing that I didn't like about it was I think the viewfinder is a little bit too small for me. I'm getting older and my eyes aren't as good, so like when I go to focus, I'm trying to make sure is this thing in focus. And it was kind of hard to stay still because I had to, really take my time. And holding the camera, it's kind of small, so I have to kind of hold it up to my eye with one finger here like this while I take a picture, and I had to kind of squint to make sure this thing was in focus and to make sure that my exposures were going to come out the way I wanted them to. So that was kind of a downside for me, and I kind of knew I wasn't going to keep it because the viewfinder is a big deal for me in my cameras, and being at such a small camera, the viewfinder was kind of small on this thing. So I told myself it's a little too small. In the long run, I'm not gonna want to use this camera. So I gave it away, but I've still got a couple of other point and shoots in my collection that make up for it. So it's not like, there's a hole in my collection. But overall, it's a great experience. Samsung is one of those brands that are slept upon, I think. They made some really great cameras, and I kind of like, cameras that are more obscure, that are not that popular, that people don't really know about. I like to try something a little different and to bring people some ideas of other alternatives that they could be using instead of all the popular brands and the popular models that are out there, because then, you know, the prices go sky high and it's just a big mess in the film photography industry, and the film prices are out of control. Yeah, so, you know, I spent a little money on it. I spent some money on film. I'm shooting Fujifilm C200, which is like my brand of choice, my go-to brand, and it's cheap and it's good. So I'm happy with the pictures, the way they came out, and it was a good experience overall. I'm going to recommend this camera. If you do find it for a good price, go ahead and get it. If you're into zoom lenses or what have you, and into the Schneider Kreuznach lens was very, I think it made a difference. Some people say it doesn't make a difference, but again, I gave this camera away. I ordered another one with a prime lens this time, another Samsung with a 30mm lens, a cheaper model, even a real simple basic model. For some reason, I like the simple basic things. Like the Samsung Evoca 70, you know, it's got that mode dial. It's kind of fancy and has these extra features that I don't actually need too much. I like to keep it straightforward, simple, and dumb. For some reason, those are the kind of cameras for some reason that I gravitate to. Just keeping it as simple as possible. So this other camera that it's on the way in the mail, you know, it's just basically you can control the flash and then you have the shutter button and that's it. And I'm big on being able to control the flash. That's kind of important to me. You know, when I can turn the flash off when I need to, that's important. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment on my video. You know, let me know how you like the pictures. Subscribe to my channel, John Dominique Prize Picks.